Welcome to Monday Night Madness
Yes.
with Karen, Greg, and I. And tonight's call is just a fun, casual discussion on what we eat in a day. Everyone always has questions about, okay, I want to be healthy. I want to have more energy naturally. I don't want to be just relying on caffeine to get through the day or to wake up in the morning or to not have to just nap in the afternoon and be so sleepy. So we just want to do a casual call with you to talk about food ideas and meal ideas and what does our grocery list contain and what are some of our favorite go-tos for really energy efficient snacks and meals throughout the day that are really designed to fuel your human body. So we're excited for tonight. It's going to be a casual discussion about food.
You've said casual twice. You look like you're ready to go out for dinner with some wonderful human being, if there's a man out there. Anyhow, and like I am casual because I've been like working the entire day. So I'm in my overalls and you look like a goddess. So
Well, thank you.
Great.
I will take this chance. You guys look how beautiful this dress is. Okay? I love it. Thank you.
Okay.
Everyone at Verizon Wireless was really impressed with it today.
I bet they were for 3.5 hours that you were there.
It was, yeah, that was a long phone transfer.
Painful.
So cool. Well, who wants to get us started?
I want to get going. I want to say something because this morning the coolest thing happened to you guys on Facebook. So I never used Facebook like for years. And then all of a sudden I'm with Greg and he uses Facebook. So I'm like, I keep up with his friends on Facebook and my friends. And so I'm not like on Facebook once in a while. And I went on this morning and one of our students, Lisa Marie, who I love, she's been our student for like 15 years, but she posted something so cool. She was like, you know, if it's uncomfortable, do it. You know, that one of those things. And it was so neat because I thought about this one time I went to present to a board of directors and I knew I was going, I presented all over Wisconsin and I got there and they were all men. They were all in suits and ties around a big board table, like all these people. And I walk in with a flower in my hair, my little dress. And I'm like, oh gosh, I'm a little out of my comfort zone, right? I'm like, I don't know these people. So I went and I gave the presentation anyways. We had a lot of fun and they were all in stitches I'm talking to these men about their prostates. So it was really quite fun. Anyhow, and afterwards it was fun. The president pulls me aside. He's like, Karen, that was amazing. I have a question. Where do you get that energy? And the reply literally became the name of my business. And now it's the name of our supplement line. My reply came instantly. And I said, sir, I eat it. If you want to have energy, you need to eat it because energy comes from biophotons and minerals and sparks of life, right? And so when you eat food that is rich in minerals and biophotons and vitamins, boom, you're going to have energy. So it was so cool because all the energy you eat is going to give you energy. All the food you eat is going to give you energy or take energy. Everything. The Snickers bar is going to take energy, where an apple, right, is going to give you energy. So you have to look up. So when you're looking at what am I going to eat in a day, you really got to consider how am I feeling and what am I going to feel like today. Right. So that was just I just wanted to start off with that because it happened this morning and it was so cool.
Yes, I love that story. And I remember when I first moved out of the house after being surrounded by healthy food choices my whole childhood. And now I got to college. And I think every kid who leaves the house goes through, it's not really a rebellion phase, but you just realize like, wow, you can literally eat anything you want. And I definitely like explored different ways of eating and realized just how big of an impact food makes on your energy levels. Because I definitely tried out different foods in the standard American diet. And I was like, where do people get their energy from? Like, this is exhausting. That was one of the biggest things I noticed. I was like, this is exhausting. How do people even get through the day? So definitely foods we eat have a big impact. The other thing that really affects energy levels too really is that gut lining, because if there is leaky gut, you could be eating the healthiest meal in the world. And there's going to be so many food particles and like LPS molecules, just different byproducts of your gut microbiome that shouldn't be in your bloodstream that are getting into your bloodstream and triggering an immune response and making you tired. So we do need to heal the gut lining because if you have leaky gut, no matter what you eat, even if it's healthy, you're going to feel tired after meals. So if you're tired after literally every single meal, that's a huge symptom of leaky gut. So we'll come back to that. But right now we just want to give you meal ideas.
I think we should do a whole Monday Night Madness on leaky gut.
Yeah.
So we could do that. We'll do that next couple of weeks. We'll get, because we can change things. So
Greg, what did you just eat?
Yes, Greg.
I just ate soup.
What was in your soup?
Why don't you tell me? You made it.
I did make it.
Yes, you
I
did.
just want to see how many things you recognize in there.
I saw some garbanzo beans in there.
There were
Some green things.
kale.
Yeah.
Ever.
Carrots.
Oh, yeah, carrots.
There you go. Some spicy.
Yeah, oh, lots of spices. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Well, medicine is your food, right? Food is your medicine. And so I came home a few weeks ago and I wanted kale and garbanzo bean soup. So I made it. I just made one up, and it's got carrots and onions and garlic and obviously garbanzo beans and kale and a lot of different spice, a lot of thyme. This is a very thyme-based soup. So a lot of thyme, a lot of rosemary is in this soup in particular, a lot of pepper and red pepper. But I'm on a big pepper craze, have been for about a couple of years now, ever since, you know what, hit a couple of years ago. And black pepper helps dissolve things that are going on in people's circulatory system. And so it's just been a great product. So we love it. Great soup.
Amazing, amazing. So one thing that I notice about her soups is the quantity of spices she puts in. So instead of it being like a half teaspoon of this or a quarter teaspoon of that, it's very normal to put tablespoons of spices into soup. And especially in this soup here, I mean, we're talking medicinal doses of garlic and of ginger and of thyme. Like she's saying, very heavy. Like I drink this soup and I'm like, wow, this is actually having medicinal effects on my body. So it's very cool to feel that, like feel your circulation increasing and feel like what's going on in your gut as you eat it. So that's a great soup recipe. I don't know if it's posted anywhere. Yeah, that's Karen's homework assignment for tonight.
I will share it on the blog post with this recipe, with the
replay. Awesome. That sounds great. So first recipe granted. So let's just start walking through some of our favorite things we eat.
Okay.
And we all have somewhat different diets. So there's different variations, different quantities of cooked food to raw food, but all of us do eat a whole food diet. So all that means is we are looking for foods that came straight from Mother Earth and into our bodies. So I will just start with mine if that works.
Sweet,
and then we can go through. So I do practice intermittent fasting. The only caveat I want to make to that is there's 2 times where it might not always be helpful to intermittent fast. And one is if someone is dealing with extreme adrenal burnout, intermittent fasting can help you focus because it actually does naturally increase your stress hormones. Because you're not having food throughout the until the afternoon. And so it does extend the morning level of cortisol that you have, which can be great for focus and productivity. The only downside is if someone's experiencing severe adrenal fatigue, they may want to actually eat in order to lower their cortisol levels. So that can be one exception. And then the other would be if you're training heavily, right first thing in the morning, you might want to eat some food right after you exercise instead of waiting till the afternoon. So those are some caveats, but I generally do liquids in the morning. So I'll either have a big quart jar of water. I may make Ayurvedic tea with a great Ayurvedic spice blend and some honey and some lemon. I also have a couple different powders that I enjoy adding to water. One is Mega Prebiotic by Microbiome Labs. It's just a prebiotic fiber that kind of flavors the water, and it's just like a pleasant, refreshing drink. So that might be a powder that I add. There's various powders that are that have chlorophyll in them or zeolite and minty beverages. So we're actually doing a call on Thursday about our favorite drinks. So if you want to know how do you hydrate in a day without just getting bored of plain water, come to the cooking class on Thursday night because we're going over all of our favorite drinks, both for hydration and dessert. And just throughout the day.
Drinkers.
We are heavy drink. I didn't know we were doing dessert recipes too. I like that.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we're adding them on there.
Totally. So I'll usually do drinks and water in the morning. And my first meal of the day, I really prefer to make it savory. So what I mean by that is just not sweet. Sometimes I might do a fruit smoothie type thing if I'm really feeling it, but I much prefer maybe eggs and some vegetables. Or eggs and some other type of complex carbohydrate. Maybe leftover dinner from the night before might be my first meal of the day. Dinners can be anything from a big fresh salad to I love ground beef and zucchini together. So summer squash and zucchini with a little bit of ground beef, and you can have that with a side of quinoa or maybe some steamed vegetables or some potatoes, that type of thing. So maybe it's leftover homemade lasagna, whatever my meal from the night before was. I really do usually start my first meal of the day is savory because if you start with something sweet, your microbiome tends to crave sweet things the rest of the day. So carbohydrates are usually not simple carbs are usually not the best thing to start with on an empty stomach. So unless it's really complex. So
and you guys should try that out too. It's if it's a bowl of cereal or a waffle or a pancake or a piece of toast, you're actually going to crave those things the rest of the day.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
have a
jump in,
confession, I
jump
have a
in, yeah.
confession. Okay, so I did break out and make my homemade brownies because Greg had not had them yet. And he's known me for a very long time. And so I made them and I did have that for breakfast yesterday.
Yes.
And
You
then
had
I
brownies for breakfast?
craved them all day long. I drank sugar all day long, but they were so good. And I
How
only
do you
make them every
get
couple of
brownies
years.
for
So
breakfast?
I'm actually proud of you. That's
so,
good, yeah.
so it does happen. I've been teaching my clients that forever, but it was certainly fun to experience. It was tasty to
So,
experience.
so now,
Yeah.
correct me if I'm wrong, but I've done intermittent fasting before I met y'all. I did intermittent fasting. It's how I lost my second round of weight loss involves quite a bit of that. But my understanding is if you're consuming any calories at all, you're not fasting.
Mhm.
So you say your first meal of the day, but if you're having something, the liquids with calories in them, that my understanding is that's not a fast, that the hours you're fasting are water only hours. You can't put calories. Because I tend to, and was pretty rigid about it, less rigid now, but I was very rigid about it. I did a 12-hour.
Mhm.
I put 12 hours between the last calorie at night and the first calorie in the morning. And the first time I lost weight, I did that accidentally. And the second time I lost weight, it was on purpose. And then every other week I would fast completely Monday and Tuesday, just water. Well, I only had to do that 3 times because I lost weight so quickly. I dropped 20 pounds like that. And so I stopped the full day fast, but I stuck to the 12-hour fast every single night. And if I had dinner at 8:30, I wasn't having breakfast until after 8:30 the next morning.
Yeah.
And gives your body time to digest what you have eaten and to get that out of the way. And it works. It worked for me. I lost
Yeah.
my first weight loss in 2017 was about 35 pounds. And then in 2021, I lost another 20
Wow.
very quickly, very easily.
That's great.
But it's all about what you put in your pie hole.
And when
Right.
eating at night is not good. Eating early in the morning is not good for the body because you're in an elimination stage of the body. So it when you eat actually does matter. So
Yeah, the time frame does.
Yep.
So awesome. So yeah, I mean, I personally I don't stress about like a little bit of honey. I know that they say like true fasting, there's like 0 calories. Up to like a certain level of grams of like plant-based, like for example, like if it's like honey or like a teeny bit of fruit, I get that it technically does break your fast, but if it's under a certain level of grams, your small intestine can convert that into glucose and send it into your bloodstream without needing your liver, and that gets absorbed pretty rapidly without a significant insulin spike. So I don't like super stressed if it's like under a certain level, but I do second you that strict fasting is probably like the gold standard as far as intermittent fasting goes. Just so yeah. So I will start my first meal savory, and then as far as dinner goes, I just go with the general rule of thumb of like having a healthy source of fat, carbohydrate, and protein. So that's just how I build my plate at night. I am looking for some form of enzymes that day. So maybe my entire dinner may be cooked, but then I will be looking for either enzymes before or after the meal, which can come from, things like sauerkraut or like a fresh salad, or you can take like an enzyme supplement if it's really just been heavy on the cooked food all day. Honey actually does naturally contain enzymes. And so if you do finish your meals off with like a ginger, anise, honey tea, like that's a great drink to have like 30 minutes after a meal. And it's like refreshing and great for your digestive tract. So that's something that I'll often have at the end of my meals. And so what that could look like, that dinner, like I said, would be maybe it is an animal or a plant source of protein, but like let's say that would be like, salmon and zucchini noodles. And I'm realizing I don't get that elaborate with my meals. They're kind of simple.
Yeah.
Like they're not very complicated. It's usually like 2 food groups. I'm like trying to think of some fancy side dish, but I'm like as basic and low fancy as possible. So just looking for, healthy protein, healthy fat in the meal. Maybe that's avocado, maybe that's some ghee that I cooked my animal in, or if it's fish, or maybe it's garbanzo beans. And I also cook that in a little bit of olive oil or butter, and have that, on some form of fresh greens. So it's a pretty simple recipe, just healthy fat, healthy carb, healthy protein. So that's like a very simple walkthrough of a day in the life of as far as I go. And yeah, that's been great for my gut health these past 3 years.
And I am, so I forever would wake up and make a green drink. I walk outside and I mean, I didn't drink my green drink until 10 or 11, in the morning, but I would go outside and pick all my stuff out of the garden and throw it in the blender and blend it up. And so that's when I would start my day. So intermittent fasting is kind of just natural around our part of the world. Even during our retreats, we don't have a big breakfast at all. That's just how we operate, and our bodies feel best that way. And there's a reason. So if you look at the Chinese medicine clock, you're going to see, and I'll post a picture of that in the blog as well. But you can see the different times of the day that you can see the different times of the day that your bodies go through cycles, right? And so different organs, glands, and tissues are operating at their peak at one period of time, 12 hours, opposite that, they're resting. Well, we also have these 3 body cycles where we go through elimination from 3 or 4 in the morning until noon, and then we go through appropriation, which is time to eat between noon and when the sun sets, and then through assimilation between sunset and 4 in the morning. And so our bodies do something different, and you can test that with your blood work. It's really cool. But anyhow, and so naturally, it's just easier not to eat a big breakfast. So for me, I wake up, I have Ayurvedic tea, I put lime in mine. Anyhow, and that's most often I'll do that by about 9 or 10 in the morning. Now I have a little different because I'm the mom of the house and I take care of an 82-year-old woman. So I get up and I make her a breakfast right away. And so I want to share with you what I make her because she's in her bed most of the day. And we need to take care of her. We need to make sure she has her proteins and her fats and her healthy carbohydrates so she can stay fueled, so she can do what she does during the day. And she does a lot, but she's in a bed for a great deal of that. And so I make her a protein shake in the morning, and I always throw a half an avocado in there, almost always throw a half an avocado in there and a half a banana. And then I use hemp seed and pea protein and chia seeds and pumpkin seed protein. So whatever protein powders I have, I'll use a lot of that. And then I add cacao. She loves everything chocolate. So I add raw cacao. And then I'll add maca because I'm working with her hormones right now. So I just ran out yesterday, so I ordered some more. But so I'll put maca in there as well. And then I use coconut. I use raw or a canned coconut milk. So I always put about 1/3 of a cup of coconut milk in there as well. So now her fats are covered, for the rest of the day because she doesn't need a whole lot more than that because she's not doing a lot. Anyhow, and then so that's what I make for her in the morning, and then she'll eat a salad, for lunch, and then lots of vegetables, and if we have meat in the house, which isn't always, or some beans or whatnot in the evening. So that's her way of living throughout the day, and she loves it. Me, myself, I am a heavy drinker. I love drinking things. I think it's so much fun, right? So I'll make a smoothie, or I'll make, I love hibiscus tea. I make hibiscus by gallons of it. And I'm down to only half a gallon. So I have to put some more out tomorrow, and I'll mix it with some kefir. I'm making some kefir right now, or I'll pick up some water kefir at the store and mix that together. And so I love golden milk. I love golden milk hot. I love golden milk cold. It is phenomenal for inflammation. And so for those of you who don't know, I had reverse scoliosis just over the last few years. And when I got my x-rays, the doctor was like, ooh, you got to get rid of all that pain. You should go to a pain clinic. And I'm like, I don't have any pain. She's like, well, look at this. You have arthritis where the scoliosis was twisted. I said, I don't have any pain. He goes, that's not even possible. And I'm like, oh, yes, it is. I didn't even know I had it because I drink golden milk almost every day. So that is a wonderful thing. And then I am heavy into salads. I love salads and sprouts. And that's what most of the fridge looks like right now. And then in the evening, we do quinoa. We'll do a quinoa base and vegetable curry, or lentil tacos, or bean tacos, or like the soup tonight. And so, but I do cook for Greg, I cook for Greg, and I cook for some of the other family members as well. And if they eat meat, then we'll be cooking some meat up, but Greg can share some of that with you. So, and I'm too pretty simple. It's not extravagant. I mean, you say that, but I'm making raw bars and dehydrating things and making dehydrated crackers. But to us, when you're not, that it's not hard to do that. Once you do it so often, it becomes actually quite easy. And so it's a lot of fun. But I will tell you, during the holidays, Karen eats her homemade pumpkin pie every single day for breakfast. Every single day, I have a piece of my homemade pumpkin pie because number one, it's good for you. There's no sugar in it. And number two, it tastes so good that I just love it. So
mom's desserts rock. They do. And that's the great thing is you can make whole food desserts that you don't feel bad after because there's so much fiber in there. It literally slows down how fast sugar enters your bloodstream. So just keep that in mind. The greater amount of fiber, the slower sugar enters your bloodstream, and that's what you're looking for. That's why berries are fine on the ketogenic diet, like raspberries, blueberries, blackberries. These things are so high in fiber that like they have an almost negligible level on your blood insulin, because it's just like they just slowly steep out like the sugar into the blood. So that's why I heard desserts are great, because they're made out of whole foods. It's not like just pouring jet fuel glucose straight into your bloodstream, and you don't get that sugar spike and sugar crash. Okay, I have my list of meals that I was going to share with you guys, but I want to hear from Greg first. Thank you for walking us through your day. Yeah, what are some of your favorite meals you've had since you moved here?
Oh, the meals since I moved
Oh,
here.
you can share about what you used to eat too. We don't care. What do you eat? This is a what you eat in a day casual Monday Night Madness. We promised that you'd give some comic relief, so you got to be snarky.
Okay, I got to be snarky a little bit. I'll see what I can do about that. It doesn't come naturally to me. Well, you know, my eating journey began with my weight loss journey. And in 2017, I cleaned up what I ate, at least according to what I did eat. And that was taking out the carbs and taking out the sugar. And I believe in eating more often. And I would eat about every 3 hours, every day, you know, 7 days a week. I eat about every 3 hours. I try to limit my eating out to twice a week at the most. And even then, I try to make better choices when I ate out and not get the pizza loaded with 5 kinds of meat. They gave me the meat sweats, you know, get the white one with some vegetables on it and that. One tip I can give you if you're trying to clean up, and if you go into an office to work, is at the evening, put your food together for the next day. Absolutely do it at night, because in the morning, I guarantee you will not have time, and you'll leave the house with no food, and you'll buy junk when you get out there. If you can, put a little refrigerator in your office so that you can put your food in there when you get there. When I did that, plus when I traveled, which was a fair amount with my job, I had a cooler I took with me. I was on the road for the day, and I had, you know, I had my 9 o'clock snack at 9 o'clock, either pulled over in the truck or just kept driving and ate it. You know, at noon I had a light lunch. At 3 o'clock I had another snack, and I had dinner when I got home. And I wasn't as strict as, you know, Karen is with me now. You know,
I
she
am with
catches
you
me
now.
She catches me eating meat.
Not.
She chains me to the radiator and
That
throws
was
a
once.
arugula at me. So,
That's a
when
sight to see them. I'm just imagining this playing out. I'm like,
I'm wicked with my vegetables.
I've never weaponized arugula before, but I could see this, like the bitter touch of that. It's like, wow.
you will not eat those hot dogs.
Don't eat hot dogs.
I did.
I know you
before
did.
I met you. When I stopped working a couple years ago, I was able to up my exercise, and I would exercise pretty strenuously 5 or 6 mornings a week. I'd get up early and do it. Well, when I got back, intermittent fasting, you know, a 16 or 18-hour fast was just not an option, because I came back from the gym or back from the pool, you know, 35 or 40 minutes constantly swimming burns a lot of energy.
Yeah.
And there's just no way I could have made it to lunch like that. But once I got to lunch, also I have a tendency, if I get really hungry, I have a tendency to binge, even to the point of making myself sick. And so in order to not do that, I had to maintain that regular, you know, 5 or 6 little meals a day. And that really does keep you from binging. It crushes your appetite. And I'm to the point now where a restaurant meal is too much. I eat it anyway, and I don't feel good afterwards. But I feel good while I'm eating it. But I would come home from the pool or come home from the gym, quick shower, and then I usually had some sort of meat and some form of eggs. I like to make an omelet. If you're into omelets and someone in your house lets you eat cheese, which doesn't happen much around here anymore.
But you like the omelets I make without cheese.
Yes, I do. A spinach and feta cheese omelet with some what's the word I'm looking for? Some pesto on top. That's, you know, and I ate a lot of breakfast sausage because I was always a sausage guy. I like it. I don't eat as much now because of nitrates and all that. So I've gotten cracked down upon. But she's tightening me up. But I would do that, and usually that would be later in the morning. It says that would be a big breakfast about 8 or 9 o'clock, depending on. I swam later than my workouts were, so in those days I ate later in the day, and then lunch was a lot of times lunch was nothing hot. I would literally stand at the counter and watch TV, and because once I got done eating. I would clean up breakfast dishes and all that. I'd wash dishes. The TV was right there. So I just sit there and, pull vegetables, pull some spinach, lunch meat, whatever, just something cold, no carbs, no sugars, none of that. And, just snack up on it and go on.
Right.
And
And then
you'll
a
still
snack
do
in the
that.
afternoon.
I'll,
Yeah.
I'll come in the kitchen and he's got the spinach out, just eating spinach out of there. And I'm like, you're so cool.
Yeah, just eat some, and some raw spinach is pretty filling and it's good
It
for
is,
you.
yeah.
And it gives you nutrition without giving you a lot of calories.
Listen, like the snacks, I'm telling you, people underestimate. I know this is like so classic, crunchy, like holistic health, but I'm telling you guys, the raw veggies can be so refreshing as a snack, like radishes, celery
liquid
sticks,
celery, yeah,
cucumber slices, like make them exotic. Don't just do
Carrots.
basic slices, like make it a sensation when you eat it. That's a big food hack I have, is like making your food sensational to eat. It's just, I'm so mesmerized by how dynamic like the produce that grows on planet Earth is. Like it's so, and this is exactly why some people don't like it, because of how, like, because of the variety and because of how just how many different textures there are. But yeah, I would really lean into that if you haven't like really given don't think of veggies as like the veggie tray with the stale veggies that you dip in ranch.
Yeah.
Like fresh veggies that have been soaked in water are a totally different level of refreshing than like the freaking $10 veggie tray classic. Like raw broccoli and cauliflower makes me bloat. So I don't eat that raw often, like ever. So just get veggie trays out of your head if you don't love them. Some people love them, but
Well, or just do some fruit.
yeah,
You
could
know,
do.
What else?
berries are great. A
Yeah.
handful of berries will
Or
satisfy
berries,
you. The
frozen-
higher the
frozen-
nutrients, the
yeah.
quicker you get full.
Frozen cherries, just frozen fruits in
She loves
general
frozen cherries.
are a great snack or a dessert, really.
Plus, you can make up things in advance.
Yeah.
And have a big container of it in. And I did a lot of that. I like broccoli slaw. And I had a halfway decent recipe. It's not something I eat now, but I had a halfway decent recipe for broccoli slaw. So on Sunday afternoons, I would make broccoli slaw and a couple other things. There's a Turkish dish called shepherd salad, tomatoes and spices and that. And it's really good. You just make up a batch of that. And then when you want to eat, you grab your protein, whatever it is. Cook a big steak and cut it into pieces and divide it into little containers.
Right.
That you can just have that little bit of steak with each meal. Some steak and some broccoli slaw, and I mean that was a meal.
Yeah.
Especially when you're eating every 3 hours and your appetite is really suppressed.
Right.
It doesn't take a lot to fill you up.
Right.
Because in another 3 hours you can grab an apple, you can grab some grapes and cheese, whatever you want to do.
And someone mentioned
We
nuts.
mentioned the apostat. Oh my gosh, nuts are a staple in our house. Whoever mentioned that one. We have a trail mix sitting on the counter all the time, and I sprout all my nuts and seeds and mix it in there with dates and figs, and oh my gosh, it's phenomenal. I take a handful of that probably 2-3 times a day.
Yeah,
And they're
a couple
so
of nuts in
good
this
for you.
house.
There's a couple, there are so many. Anyhow, I hide my macadamia nuts in the freezer because otherwise everybody eats them. But anyhow, and they cost a lot of money when you get them raw.
That's what I'll say. Mom's
Yeah.
trail mix is like a little it's an investment on the front end,
is,
because
it
you'll
is.
spend a good $100 like getting all the different ingredients for it, but you can freeze that because it's gonna make a
Mhm.
huge batch. And I'm telling you, this stuff is so much better than what you're gonna get like in bags. So many nuts in
Yeah.
those trail mixes are actually rancid.
Yep.
And
Or they're in oil,
or they're in oil.
so
So
they're enzyme
like if
inhibitors.
you can make your own trail mix, even if you can just start with 5 ingredients, it's gonna be a big step up.
Yeah.
If you can make that yourself. And we've put like cacao nibs in ours as like a fun way to add a little bit of chocolate in there. But our favorite sweetener in trail mix is probably like slices of dried mango and then
We do
dates and figs are the biggest thing. Dates and figs. So you just chop up the dates and you like quarter the figs. And you mix that in with some almonds,
Mhm.
pecans, some cashews, and pumpkin seeds. Done. Great trail mix right there.
And walnuts. I'll do my walnuts.
Yeah,
I'll soak my walnuts, and then I will dehydrate them with a little bit of like just baking seasoning that I make, and we put those in there, and it's just so yummy. And Greg, you keep it in the car, in the truck, and
Yeah,
I keep it in my
I
car.
keep a little jar of trail mix, and also I have a bag of. A year ago, I did not know there was such a thing as sea salt organic sprouted pumpkin seeds, and now I have a bag in the truck that I take, and that's my snack to keep me going if I'm out somewhere.
Is that the
So I'm not.
Costco one?
Yeah, from Costco, big
Yeah, so
bag.
I'm not driving through some fast food joint or
Mhm.
stopping and getting gas station food. I've got,
Yeah.
I've got some nuts and some seeds and fruits and that I can eat in the truck. Keep me going.
Love that. Love that.
Mhm. So Dandy was up here. That's Lily's dog, and Dandy loves her dinners too. And her dinners currently now consist of turkey. We make it, I make it, and it's turkey and chicken, or turkey or chicken, and then a lot of vegetables. Sometimes I'll put a little bit of rice in there, and then lots rosemary. The spiced rosemary helps keep parasites out of the food and helps them keep them healthy. And then different vegetables. Right? So they love pumpkin. Oh my gosh, I do a lot of pumpkin. So I'll make up the meat. And Greg went and bought it again today. He bought 6 or 8 pounds of it. But we just cook up the meat, and if you want to throw a little bit of grain in there, you're welcome to. We do organic brown rice, but then we all the vegetables, well, not all the vegetables, but the carrots and peas and green beans and squash or pumpkin, and they love it, and it fills them up. And that's a big part about how the bodies work. Is human bodies, we have an apostat. The apostat is an organ which is at the base of your brain. Yep, and it controls your appetite. And so the apostat controls your appetite, and by measuring the nutrients in your bloodstream. So if there's a lot of nutrients in your bloodstream, you don't have an appetite. You're not hungry because you're eating nutrient dense foods. But if you go eat a Big Mac, you're still going to be hungry really quickly after that, because there's not a lot of nutrients in a lot of those foods. And so you're going to be hungry quicker. So if you have a high nutrient dense food, like an organic apple or a banana or an orange, trail mix, those are going to keep you full for a longer period of time, and then you won't be snacking on some chips, which are air and no nutrients. Right. And so it's just a way to look at what you're eating. Again, how I started the whole thing was, every single bite you take is going to give you energy or take energy. And just look at food that way. Is this going to give me energy or take energy? I darn well knew that eating a piece of my brownie was going to take some energy, right? But that didn't matter, because I eat so much living food every single day that it gave me plenty of energy. That's the whole thing. You have a liver, you can use it. Right. This is not one of those, you can never eat a chocolate brownie again, right? I'm usually a good one out of good organic healthy ingredients, but you can still eat those foods. You just want to balance your food better. You want to have more nutrients in your bloodstream, so you aren't craving food and then you eat something that you shouldn't be.
Right. My biggest goal for every one of you tuning in on live right now would be to increase the amount of enthusiasm you have for the foods that you eat in a day. Mm-hmm. Like, just, it is like so fun for me to bite into a radish and think mm-hmm. about all, because radish it has a very strong flavor, but it also has compounds in it that are, along with broccoli sprouts, are naturally antimicrobial and have a great benefit on like the gut microbiome in your digestive tract. So a lot of times throughout the days I eat foods, my mind is ruminating on the incredible medicinal properties of these foods that I'm eating. Pumpkin seeds, they're anti-parasitical. If it's for a guy, great for the male prostate. Naturally high in protein, naturally high in healthy fats. If it's salted, that's a great source of sodium, which is going to increase the level of hydration in your body. So I just love getting that enthusiasm around the foods that I'm snacking on in the meals I'm eating in a day, because there's a lot of.
You were sure enthusiastic about my radishes last week. You ate every one of them, and you ate them so fast you were not sitting there thinking about all that microbiome when you just devoured all my radishes.
That's true. It's just because they're so sensational.
Yeah, I watched them. I put them in there for me, and then they were just gone.
Like, you guys, you don't know how crispy. Like, some radishes are so full of hydration they crack open when you bite into it.
Tell me, because I didn't get it.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
But yeah, I would just there's enough food shame out there, people feeling guilty about their food they're eating, or feeling compelled, or weak when they eat it, or feeling gross about it. Frankly, I don't care if it's a good for you meal or a bad for you meal. if it's a meal that's not naturally healthy for you, you can still be enthusiastic about the fact that it's going to increase the level of leptin in your body so much that your body, there's no way you'll be in starvation mode. And, you know, like I think about that stuff. If I'm eating a meal that's not very nutrient dense, I'm like, well, this isn't going to give me a lot of micronutrients, but it's sure going to satiate my body and make sure that I'm not in starvation mode, which is going to increase my metabolism the rest of the week. So just try out having that mindset towards your food of like, how could this possibly benefit my body? And I do hope that that makes eating throughout the day more enjoyable for you, because there's so many cool things about everything you eat in a day that are just doing incredible things, you know?
We should recap a little bit.
Okay.
Let's talk about the foods that take energy. So the things we do not recommend. We do not recommend cereal. We do not recommend cereals, which are empty calories, genetically modified corn, you name it, right? So cereals are out the door along with milk, just out the door. And so starting your day with breads, your cereals.
I have substituted
Yep.
granola, reading labels and making sure it's not loaded with sugar. Because most of the healthy stuff out there,
Yeah.
if it's in the middle of the grocery store, it's on the shelf, it's got sugar added to it.
Mhm.
So I found a brand that doesn't have any processed sugar added to it. It's granola. And I can't believe I use almond milk.
Oh.
She's got me on almond milk. But it's good. It's hearty and it fills me up and it gives me good energy. And it's not sugary because I'm not a cereal guy anyway. I'm just not. But it's a good substitute for cereal, and you can feel like you're eating cereal without putting all that garbage in your body.
Yep. And another thing, we don't like, don't get the fake pancakes and you put them in your toaster and pop them up. Like those are all just full of bad fats is a big thing, because your brain and your body, all your cells of your body are made from fat.
Right.
There's a lipid system around the membrane of every cell. And so you need healthy fats. Whatever fats you are eating is what's making your brain. So getting rid of that junk so you can go, and for a long time, I didn't use butter either. I just lived a very vegan lifestyle and raised my kids that way for a bit, but I have organic butter. We have organic butter. I'll use organic butter, and I use it liberally because we need to use healthy fats. And so don't be afraid of that. Coconut oil, I use coconut all the time.
Coconut milk
and curries, right? There's so many ways to get healthy fats in the body. Anyhow, and so those are some things you're going to stay away from. And bread, when we say carbohydrates, we're not eating bread. Bread is very, very not eaten here very often at all. It is not at all. And so we'll use lettuce or almond tortillas or
Lettuce. Let's specify the lettuce, okay? Because
That's
lettuce.
true. Not
Iceberg lettuce is crunchy water.
Oh, okay.
There's no.
I'm like, what's he talking about?
It's still sensational.
It's
Ice-
crunchy water.
Iceberg lettuce
It
has
adds
a place.
nothing. It adds nothing.
Whoa, we are
you
not
can
bringing
put some-
iceberg lettuce in this house.
No, don't bring iceberg lettuce
My
around me.
goodness, I don't.
Some
I'm gonna-
romaine, some
I'm
spinach,
gonna-
and something
I'm
that
gonna
has
hit
some
you- I'm gonna hit
nutrition.
you with a head of iceberg lettuce this summer.
Volleyball. You're volleyball crazy guy. That's what we do.
Retaliation.
Retaliation could be bad. Anyhow, and then just try starting your mornings without carbohydrates and sugars. Really go to nuts and seeds or soup or meat or vegetables, but do things that do not require that kind of sugar breakdown, and you will see a notable. This is the number one thing I teach my clients when they want to lose weight. Literally cut all of it out in the morning, and you will stop craving it throughout the day.
Well, if you think about it, an American breakfast involves fried stuff, sugary stuff, and bread.
And dairy.
And that's why, that's why Krispy Kreme donuts are the perfect American breakfast food. It's fried sugar bread.
Wow.
Whoa. Never thought of it that way.
Okay.
Combines it all.
Well, there we go.
When
So-
you can read the ingredients, make sure you read the per serving amount.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
We have Lana in the room, everyone. Grandma
Yep.
Lana.
Yep.
Great to see you,
Lana's
Lana.
she's probably going, where's my dinner? The soup tastes amazing, Lana. It's sitting in the kitchen. I'll get it to you when we're done. Anyhow, but yeah, Lana's big into that because
They're talking. Lana's in the room starving.
oh, she's not starving. I feed her all the time.
She
Are you
gets her
starving,
chain-
Lana? She's
Gets
not
her chain
starving.
to the radiator.
I'm gonna get turned in for something dangerous at one point. Anyhow, but yes, read the labels. And like Lana said, look at the per serving so you know what you're bringing in to the body. And you know what, when you're reading, that's a great thing, because when you start reading labels like Greg did when it's granolas, you are going to find, you're going to be shocked at how much junk is in your food. Now our store is opening up in a couple weeks, online and in person. And so, I'm, bringing in a lot of the products that I've sold for many decades when I had the stores open, but there's some new lines out there of products open. I'm finding that some of these lines of products, like why would anybody put natural flavors in their protein powder and expect me, a holistic health educator and a holistic healthcare practitioner, to sell it to somebody? I won't, because natural flavors, you won't find anything in my store. So you do need to be aware and look at labels when you're making things, and you
Read the ingredients.
read your ingredients.
Read the
You
ingredients.
might have a great essential oil line that you love. That does not mean you should trust the stuff they sell to you to take internally. So just because you love one thing from a company doesn't mean everything they make is wonderful. So you never want to stop reading the ingredients and reading labels.
And it can say organic, but if the second ingredient is organic cane sugar, then that's just not something,
Yeah,
you know,
still
why
too
do
much
you
sugar.
need cane sugar in hummus?
Right.
And I've seen that in organic hummus, and it's got organic cane sugar. Why do I need sugar in hummus?
Right.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay.
A couple questions in the comments. Someone mentioned, what about fruits for breakfast? So again, fruits can assist the body with the elimination cycle. So it is possible that that can fit into someone's breakfast routine. The only thing you want to be careful is so many people are really having a candida overgrowth right now because of the excessive amount of sugar in their diet. We wouldn't recommend a fruit for breakfast for anyone who's already dealing with a candida overgrowth, which is a naturally occurring fungus in the body, but you don't want it in excessive doses. And it is, what percent of the US population is it
At least
overgrown?
70% right now.
Yeah, it's like massive. So we used to be big fruit for, we used to be
Yeah.
big fruit for breakfast
Oh, yeah,
advocates.
produce until noon.
Yeah,
I have
'cause it's
said it for decades.
To help the body with the elimination cycle, because that stuff is hydrating, it's high in your naturally occurring vitamins and minerals. And it can totally, it doesn't tend to disrupt the body's elimination cycle like a heavy meal would. However, due to like the increasing levels of candida overgrowth and just like the level of insulin insensitivity that the average population is experiencing, we've kind of veered away from that line of thinking. So I would say like it can fit, just make sure it's not that you're craving it, because if you're craving it in the morning, the human body shouldn't naturally crave sweet things.
But I do fruit in the morning, but I do berries. It's always berries. So I eat a lot of berries. And so there'll be berries in the morning, but again, not until 10 or 11, but I'll do handfuls of a few berries before lunch. That is
I
just
crave
easy.
protein in the morning.
Yeah,
Mm.
you do.
I crave
Yeah.
protein for breakfast.
I understand, like
Something hearty.
sorry. My friend runs a detox center in Bali, and they put people on papaya and some like high enzymatic fruits in the morning while they're going through a cleanse. So I know there's like instances where
Yeah,
that can
yeah,
fit
yeah,
in
yeah.
definitely, but on a day-to-day basis, I would say, yeah, not unless it's serving a specific purpose. Do I share any part of this or no?
Oh, sure you can. You can share your screen.
Okay, everyone, I'm going to share my screen. This is our final finale. This is a document that our students have access to, so I can't share this in the chat because this is for certification students. Oh, we're still sharing no, we're not sharing our sound. Okay, good. So I'm just going to share this document briefly, just so you can get any final ideas from it that you would like. So let me just pop back up here. So this document's called Holistic Nutrition Meal Ideas. So I'm just going to scroll through this. Certification students, you have this in your library. So for mornings, great time for hydration. So we're looking at water, various hydrating drink concoctions.
Oh, I should mention too, if you're wanting to heal the gut, doing celery juice, 2 cups of celery juice first thing in the morning on an empty stomach is phenomenal. Highly recommended. So if you know you're dealing with some gut issues, and we're going to talk about leaky gut, we'll talk about some gut issues, maybe IBS and leaky gut in a couple of weeks, but just throwing it out there.
Yep. So celery juice can be great.
Mhm.
Hot coffee, mushroom blends, different types of, great sourced lattes. Or just, black coffee if you're doing intermittent fasting, herbal teas and tonics, yoga tea. This is such a good recipe for yoga tea, golden milk. So just very refreshing, energizing drinks in the morning. And then these are meal ideas. So you have your traditional egg dishes like veggies and egg hash. Great green drinks and smoothie mixes that assist the body with the elimination cycle in the morning, because you're looking to have a massive bowel movement before noon, but especially first thing in the morning. Like if you can get your body in the habit of waking up, maybe drinking water, maybe not, and then eliminating right away, that's great. So anything that assists with detoxification before noon. Great salad ideas, Cobb salads, taco salads. This is what we had, like literally every single week of my life growing up was taco bean salads. It was so good. Mediterranean salads, you know, plant-based protein with just like garbanzo beans and quinoa salads. Then we have things like, I'm going to keep going. Some, you know, wraps are great. And then we get down to your traditional, you know, protein and veggies. So that's like salmon and veggies, steak and veggies.
And you actually never want to eat a protein and a carbohydrate together. So you don't actually
Like
have a
like a
hamburger
simple carb.
on a bun. You don't want to do that because your body cannot properly digest that together. And so when you look at American diet, you're like, okay, cereal and milk, that actually doesn't even digest together
Very well.
properly.
Yeah.
So you really want to avoid breads with your meals, just throwing it out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can do burgers without buns.
Yeah.
Been doing them for
And
a while.
I'm just gonna mention, you
Yeah.
can handle handle some of that. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not as concerned with like the bun and the meat as I am with like the fries and the meat. Because like that fry is now adding in like way more carbs and way more oil. So I'm not even as big of a bun hater as I am like the fries and the milkshake that comes with the meat. Like
You're a
what
hater.
you could say that. But I do love my potatoes. So it's just gotta be in the right. Okay, so we have stir fries here, tacos, Mediterranean spreads with grilled zucchini and hummus and delicious toppings. We got some European styled curries, cauliflower dishes, butter chickens, some homemade pizzas, chicken tortilla soup, Thai soup, coconut curry. Snacks, you know, cucumber with lemon and salt, nuts and seeds, hard-boiled eggs, berries, veggies and guacamole, seed hummuses, and fatty, delicious dips. Hope you guys are getting just so inspired. I love nature. More the snacks continue. So boom, you guys. We'll finish it off with snacks and desserts. You got frozen berries. If you want to do berries in some type of cream, you can do that. But frozen fruits are one of our family favorites down here. You can make your own dark chocolate bark, chocolate mousse, chocolate fat bombs, cookies, chia seed pudding, and
whatever.
mangoes. Yep.
Yeah, you can do so much with chia seed pudding, you guys. You can make it savory, you can make it sweet, you can do so much with chia seed pudding.
Yep. Frozen banana smoothies and then ending it with licorice tea. So if you guys didn't get some good meal ideas for this next week, I literally have nothing else to say at this point. Hope you got some ideas you can implement this week, but
Excellent. Well, thank you for joining us on Monday Night Madness this week. That was great.
it is. We really just want to get people back in their
Yeah.
kitchens. It does not take longer to prepare this food than it does to order out. I'm telling you, it does not take longer. Some meals do. Some meals do take a little bit more time. But like, we just got to get people back in the kitchen. That's our only hope right now, because restaurant food, it's just getting sketchier and sketchier by the year as their costs increase and their food quality goes down. We just have no clue where that meat is coming from. And I'm not trying to fearmonger right now. I'm just saying I really genuinely believe our greatest hope is to get people back in their kitchens, learning how to cook these easy and affordable and high quality meals.
Yep.
One thing you can do is plan your meals. Plan a week's worth of meals, like on Sunday afternoon. Go to the grocery store on Sunday and plan your meals and then make a list of what you need for those meals, and that's what you buy. And don't deviate from that. Don't buy other things. Don't go to the grocery store hungry.
Right.
But don't buy those other things and just don't have them in the house. Prep what you can in advance so that you have stuff you can grab when you're in a hurry, because you're going to be in a hurry. You're not always going to have time to cook. But have that raw stuff that you can just grab out of the fridge, stand at the counter, eat a quick snack or quick meal and keep going.
If you got teenagers, give them a night a week to cook. Amy started cooking for her family. All my teenagers did when they were young, 10, 11, 12 years old. They were cooking meals because I wanted them to love their food. We had 2 daycare centers. Guess what? Those kids had gardens, both locations, and they helped make some of the food. So like when you get people excited about when they're young, doing food and eating good food, it works. So don't think you have to make every single meal, mom, right? Number one, you have a husband or another spouse or someone else in the house. If there's anybody else living with you, give them a night or 2 a week to make food. It is great for them. And all my kids love cooking. All of them make amazing meals because it's been part of their life since they were young. So they didn't just get hit on the head when they went to college. Okay, good luck. You know, they really knew how to make a lot of food.
Right. People have always been shocked at how young of children we hand knives to, like to this day. Like we will teach like a 5-year-old how to use a knife safely. because it's just great for them to learn, like from a young age, how to learn. Maybe is 5 a little young? Is it 7? I'm trying to think back to
some.
no,
I've
I've done some.
6 and 7 is.
No, I've definitely
Most
done
adults do
5. I'm
5,
going back to my
yeah,
nanny
yeah.
days. I nannied for 5 families throughout college, and
Yeah.
they all had small kids, and I taught them how to cook. That was like half my
Mhm.
job. And yeah, I had those kids in the kitchen. They way more likely to eat vegetables if they participate in it, like
Mhm.
times 5. So anyway, we're not here to be preachy, just sharing things that really have helped us out.
Yep.
And any last
No,
words?
I'm just excited. You're gonna feel great. You're gonna have energy. You're not gonna have inflammation. Inflammation is coming from the food that you eat. It is a
Yeah.
huge percentage of it. Okay, so get grounded, touch the earth, touch your trees, and just get your garden going. Get something growing, no matter where you are. You can be growing things inside your house now with all of the neat towers that they have that you can have in front of your window. So just you really want to consider growing some of your own food and doing anything else but at least buying fresh living produce, and you need to know where it comes from. Just because it's at a farmer's market this summer doesn't mean you should be buying it, because they use just as many chemicals as the next farmer. So just make sure you know what you're eating, because your food will give you energy or take energy. And I'm here to tell you, when it gives you energy, you can accomplish a lot more in a day than by living off of dead food that is going to take it. So, or processed food. So
I agree.
I feel great.
All right.
Thank you, everyone. We're going to go ahead and end recording. But this is super important that you understand that, because you are the master of your body.